So I'm just going to start off with the idea that we're dividing this up into an architectural model and a structural model. So I'm just going to add in, first of all, add in some floors and a roof into the model. And I can see we've got all the levels in here. So I'm going to come up to, if you look at the elevation I've put in here, it's got the levels that we transferred across from the linked file, but it hasn't generated any floor plans over here because it doesn't do that automatically. You often have a level that you don't need to have a plan for. So if you want those as actual floor plans, you come up to View, you go into Plan Views, Floor Plans, and all the levels are in here, and you can just select them all, holding down Shift, press OK, and they'll generate a plan view for each one of those levels over here. So if you go back into the ground floor, actually let's go up to walkway level, and let's get the underlay going. What's the underlay? Did we put it on level 1? Is that where we put it? Or is it ground floor? So here we have something that's actually common among the everybody who's working on it. Is we have a position of the walls and we have a position of the columns, and the easy way to control all these things without having to do everything individually is to set up a grid, like we did last semester. But you don't want to set up the grid in the structural model. You should set it up again in the group model. So you often have to go back and modify the group model to add things that everybody can use, or that everybody can use as reference points. So I'm going to go and open the group model again. Whoops, there it was there. Group-based project file. And it's telling me that the model is linked into one or more open documents. Opening it in the current session will unload it as a link. So we say, yes, that's okay, we don't mind. So we're back in the group model again. So I'm just going to set up some grids while we're here. So let's go into architecture and over to grid. And based on our measurements, we could probably take a center point of each of these columns and use it to set up a structural grid like that. Do one over there, and we'll do one over here. Stretch it out so we can see it. And we'll do some vertical ones as well. So we just take midpoint to midpoint. If it's showing a triangular, that means it's connecting to the midpoint. Take it out here. And let's just change this to A. And we'll just do the last one here. And then stretch it outside. Like this. Like this. So we've made some slight modifications to the overall group model because everybody needs to know where the grids are going to be. So then we can just save that and close it down again. And so now, because I never closed down the individual walls model, it's still here. So I can go back and go into Manage, Links, go back and reload the group base model like this. Okay, and so we've brought the grids in with it as well. So any modifications you make in the linked file will automatically update into your into the other file you're working on. So we have this set up in ground floor. If we go to walkway level, we can still see the grids, but we can't see the linked file. So let's just go back in again to ground floor. So I'm just going to draw a floor to make the walkway. So I'm assuming that the walkway has been measured out to here, for example. So then we can go in and go floor, architectural. Again, just choose a generic floor to start with. So let's just say generic 300. And even though we're sitting on the ground floor, we can choose to draw the floor at walkway level. But we're doing it on ground floor, so we can see all the guidelines we need to use for it, okay? So we can go and we can draw from here to here, let's say. Of course, you need to measure this. And again, right click, snap overrides, endpoints, that, and then just accept it. And we can see the line of it above, so let's just have a look at the 3D view. So it's been drawn at the correct level up there, okay? So I'll just do it on one side. And the last thing I'll do is I'll go to eaves, internal, and we'll turn on the underlay, we'll turn it on to ground floor so we can see the walls. And now I'm just going to draw a simple roof. So I'll go into architecture, roof, whoops, that wasn't roof, architecture, roof by footprint. And we can either pick the lines, or sometimes it's easier just to draw lines because it means they're not attached to the individual walls itself. Snap overrides, endpoints, and again, endpoints. So you can see that it's showing a slope on all four sides. So if I left that like that, it would make some kind of a pyramid roof. So I need to switch off the slope on this side by selecting it and switching off define slope, and on this side and switch off define slope, and then we'll just accept it as it is. And then if we go back to the 3D view again, so we got something like that, okay? So I'm not gonna worry about the angle of the roof yet, because you need to work that out for your project. But let's just assume that's correct for the moment.
Can you just set it to roof level?
No. If you select it, you can change the angle of it over here. At the moment it's set to 30, but you actually need to work out the angle. That's just the way it works. Okay. Well, actually, not always. You can do it that way, but you do instead of doing a roof by footprint, you would do a roof by extrusion. So you can actually just draw the profile of the roof and then extrude it out, just as the same as this little diagram here. So that would make more sense for this kind of project, actually. Okay. So let's assume that group member 1 is doing this part of the project. So we'll just close that down. And meanwhile, if I can close it down, meanwhile group member 2 wants to work on the structure. So we're going to start one for group member 2. So architectural template, very quickly go in and insert, link to Revit. I'm doing this a few times just so everybody gets the hang of it. Skeen Holland, origin to origin, manage coordinates, acquire coordinates, and then go into manage links, unload. So now we can insert, link Revit, and we can find the team member model. Was it this one? Or was it group member 1? Sorry, I was doing it's this one. And we can get it to insert by shared coordinates. Open. And so we have this link model that somebody else is working on. So we can use this as the basis for our structural model. So the first thing I do is, again, do the same exercise again. We need to collaborate, copy monitor, select link, so we get the same levels coming in. Copy the levels. Somebody's watching TV over there. Finish. And probably the easy way to do a structure is sorry, let's go into the views and get all the views correct first as well. plan view floor plan, walkway level. Okay. So then we go down to we didn't get ground floor in there yet. So I need to do it again. Collaborate, copy monitor, select link.
I don't get that.
Just let me do this for a second. Finish. That's ground floor. I hadn't copied across the ground floor from the other project into this one, so it couldn't turn up as a view. Okay. Am I going too fast? So resume. We can also insert. If we go back into a lot of this stuff is about just copying material across that other people have done. So let's put group-based project file, because we need the grids. So I got to insert this as well. And we insert it by shared coordinates. Now we've got the grids in there. We can also collaborate, copy monitor, select link, and then copy the grids across. So you can see the group-based file is really just to set up the coordinates for everybody, and then you can use that information to set up your own element. So once we've done that, we have the grids in there, we can start to add columns. So I'm going to go into structure and column, and we can just say, because there's only 4 here, we can change it just to have something that's closer. Let's say we'll just we'll change it to this, because it's just the one we have at the moment. It's a little bit small, but anyway. So we can go in there, and you can see Revit selects the center point automatically for us. And as usual at Revit, it always comes in at the wrong level when you put in a column. I don't know why. It happens every single time they do a new version of Revit. So we need to change it to the correct level. So we can change the column level to, let's say, walkway level, base level, ground floor, and we change the offset to 0. And if we apply that, the column is coming at the correct position. Go back into ground floor, and now we have one column. We can copy it from.
Is that structural or architectural column?
That's a structural column. From here to here to here. Now that we've done that, we can start to put in I tell you what we'll do. We'll actually draw a cross section through this to make it easier. If I just go into ground floor level, and we're going to make a cross section through here. Once we're in the cross section, you can actually see, because you've done all this detailed measurement on the actual structure, it will probably make your lives easier when you're building a structural model to add a level for everything you need. So you might copy this level down, for example. Let's say copy it down by whatever, let's say it's 75 mils. We can break it here so it's visible, and we can drag it out as much as we can. How do you drag this out? Anyway, let's change that to top of beam. And you can use that level then as the basis for your structural model, like we did last semester for the top of the beam. Okay. So let's go into that level view. Actually, we'll do it this way. I'll go to walkway level, and I'm going to go into structure. I'm going to go into a beam system. And I'm going to put it at, I'm going to put it just by drawing a rectangle between here and here. Get this more or less correct. Oh, let me drag it. I'll have to actually draw it. Rivet, rivet, rivet. Snap overrides, endpoint. Just a second. And so we change the beam direction to the correct direction like this, and if we accept it, and let's change the spacing to 600 or something like that, then we should have the beginnings of a beam system in there. At the moment it's set up as a concrete beam system, but we can change it to whatever we want. In here. Oh, what the hell is it? Beam type. Okay, and now you can see that it's actually, I've drew it at the top level, at the actual walkway level. But because we've put in a level for the top of the beam, we can cut it out and then modify it and then paste it back in, align to selected levels, top of beam, and it comes in at the right position. Okay, so as you're working out the structure, you can use the architectural model as a guideline and then add the structure in that way. Okay? Any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.